And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto, episode 649. Today is Thursday, January 28, 2021, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. And today's top stories: Wall Street big tech clampdown on GameStop-style pumps. Biden administration monitoring the situation. Analysts: Chinese New Year could drive Bitcoin selling pressure. BIS chief blasts Bitcoin's viability, prompting blowback from advocates. Silver Lake co-founder tells Davos cash is used far more in crime than Bitcoin. Central banks representing a fifth of the world's population likely to issue CBDC in 3 years, says the BIS. Reddit partners with Ethereum Foundation to boost scaling and resources. Miami uploads Bitcoin white paper to Municipal website, and the mayor of Reno appears to be a link marine. Wow, this is going to be one of those Bitcoin maximalist days, people. I know it's a lot of stories, but we're going to get through them, and I'm excited about them. And if you already noticed, I had started off today's show on mute, as I normally forget when I'm by myself. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and check out those prices. Boom! Green day today, but not by much. Bitcoin is coming in at $31,942, up 7.16%. Ethereum is trying to reach that all-time high again at $1,349, up 8.9%. Stellar is at 26 cents, up 11.5%. Ripple is at 26 cents, up 5.27%. Chainlink is coming in hot at $23.91, up 15.39%. And let's see, who else we have? Dogecoin. Got to talk about Dogecoin, up 160% to 0.019 at the time, and still pumping. If you're not aware right now, Wallstreet Bets apparently is trying to pump Dogecoin. Came out late last night. Dogecoin to $1 was a thing. While that is probably not going to happen, I have to say, like, that would take a lot of value. As you can see, it already has pumped a crazy amount. I think it was 100 and something percent. We just saw 160% on some exchanges. Others have it at 80, 90, whatever. It is pumping like crazy. Some people had as low as 0.0007 cent yesterday. And of course, right now we are looking at 0.019, almost a full 2 cent. And literally about an hour and a half ago, when I jumped back into Doge, it was at 1 cent flat, 0.012 maybe or something. And already we're looking at 0.019. This thing might not keep going. Again, it's been pumping already overnight, 160%. We've seen what's happened with GameStop and some of the other ones. Could it keep going? Possibly. But again, I've said this many times before. I look at Doge as also a long-term play because it does have the community. If you notice, every time something pumps, I keep telling new viewers they're going to pump Doge eventually. Because it's just one of those places with the community. It's one of those things like, hey, everybody ain't gonna be getting no pumps, and Doge is not going to get a pump. Look at it that way. It's not gonna happen. The community won't let it happen, and it looks like they got some folks over at Wall Street trying to make it happen as well. So shout out to everyone who's in Doge right now, I guess. Brian Smith, thank you. You were the first comment I saw also that said no audio, so I appreciate that early on before I went 10 minutes into D-Link. What's going on? February 2021, we might have a Bitcoin shortage, possibly. With the Wall Street Bets and Sailor event. That's right. Marcellus Love, good morning. Crypto Q, Easy 001, Leroy Forrest, P1 Van, everybody rolling in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, before we really get into all the stories of the day, like I said, today is a Bitcoin maximalist day. It's literally Wall Street versus retail, Wall Street versus mom and pop. That is the theme of the day. We'll get into it, but first I want to talk about a story that's been hot now the last 72 hours, right? We talked about it yesterday, but I have to jump back into it for some points we made yesterday. I want to revisit. Again, Wall Street, big tech clampdown on GameStop-style pumps. Biden administration monitoring the situation. As Bitcoins, they already said, I'm not sure which asset manager or venture capital firm it was, but we're smoking on that pack, right? It's happening right now. It's continuing to happen. And I want to point this out because this was the best thing to happen to cryptocurrency in a long time. And the reason why is because I think Bitcoins, they put it on his Twitter yesterday. I actually need to find the link. But there was the guy on CNBC. He was going off on Wall Street, right? He was like, no, we're not going to change the rules. We're not going to stop trading. We're not going to shut down platforms. all of a sudden that you guys are losing money, even though you've been changing the rules for years. You've been doing things differently. You've been making it harder on retail investors. We are not going to stop trading all of a sudden. I thought that was here. I'm actually pulling up Twitter right now to see if I can find where that tweet was. But I thought that was one of the best explanations. I'm glad the guy actually had the balls to do it on CNBC. I mean, again, he went off. I'm glad to see it happen. It's that reality check that they needed. Now, this is all good for cryptocurrency because this is the same methods they've been using in the crypto space, right? Oh, Coinbase, this exchange isn't working. All of a sudden, once crypto hits 17,000, 20,000, 50, 40,000, whatever, well, we don't work anymore. Or even on the traditional side, when it comes to regulators. Oh, all of a sudden ICOs are illegal. Oh, all of a sudden we're going to tax crypto. All of a sudden we're going to do this, that, and the other, right? They make up new rules as they go when they realize they're starting to lose. And it was finally called out in the on the traditional side. Wall Street was finally called out for it by their very own on CNBC, right? By one of the CNBC's own in-house correspondents called them out on it. So it's one of those things where the chickens are finally come home to roost. It's like you all have been doing dirty stuff to the general public and to retail investors since the beginning of time. And now it's coming back in the form of companies essentially about to go out of business. And even worse, people, we might need to be careful about this because this could be that black swan event we always talk about. The last time we saw it was in 2008 for the housing crisis. It flipped the whole economy upside down. What if actually retailers buying into these companies and squeezing out the bigger companies and the venture capital firms that are already been in these companies, especially some of the banks and stuff? What if shorting them out and squeezing them out will actually cause that financial collapse, right? We didn't look at it from that point of view, but if you got 10, 15 venture capital funds going out of business all at the same time because of something like this, it could possibly happen, right? Especially if they're involved in other businesses. But by and large, the point of this story that I am super excited about is to see Wall Street getting called out because, again, this can only help everything when it comes to cryptocurrencies. It only gives us more credit. It only makes us more real now that even the traditional market, traditional retailers and the credit investors are seeing how dirty Wall Street and regulators can actually get. So again, shout out to those Wall Street bets again. Shout out to that whole Reddit group for waking America and the rest of the world up to the dirty tricks that they're up to up there. P-Man Van said, I knew they were going to try to stop this. They have been profiting from the public forever. Now that it's now is their turn and it's back on them. They're trying to stop it for sure. What's going on, Tariq? Madam Crypto, the Big Short plebe style. You already know. Brian Smith said, kill Wall Street. What's going on, Kango 26? And again, with that story, if you remember yesterday, I said I saw a gentleman who actually called that story out last year, or called out GameStop last year as being a stock to watch. I forgot his name at the time yesterday, so I had to hit him up on Facebook after the show to remember his name and get his business name or whatever. And as he said, he downplayed it. He was real cool about it. He was like, hey, that's all Wall Street bets and everything. And I semi-agree, but not really. And here's the reason why I'm going to give you this guy's information. And first and foremost, make sure, of course, you do your own research. From my understanding, from me just kind of lurking and following him on Facebook, he trades traditional stocks, traditional options, all that traditional stuff. He is a little bit into crypto, but not a full-time crypto guy like myself and Bitcoin Zay. But he does always shout out the crypto communities. He's also a warrior. He watches our show. But I haven't been in his trading group. I've only seen some of the trades that he will mention publicly. And what I will say is that he usually mentions some of these trades before they blow up. So again, I've more than one time him being right. And for this one, for the GameStop one, again, I wanted to give this guy his flowers while he's still here. And the reason why is because if he was on Wall Street already, if he's on Wall Street or if he's working at one of these venture capital firms, if he's doing anything in the public eye and he mentions the same type of Facebook post he had, the one he showed me, I think was from October of 2020, but I distinctly remember it being one before that. So let's just say October of 2020, he mentioned GameStop. But if he were to be on CNBC and make that same bet, if he were to be around JP Morgan Chase or one of these big financial speaking events and made that same bet and had the same talk at these events when everyone else was shorting GameStop and saying it was going out of business, if he would have did the same thing he did, they would have heralded him as a genius right now. Even though Wall Street bets did a lot of heavy lifting, right? GameStop was still already on his way up, but he would be heralded as a genius. So because of that, again, I wanted to give him his flowers while he was here. His name is Jay Johnson. Again, that's Jay Johnson, and his business name is Discover Your Options. I believe that's his trading group. Again, do your own due diligence. I haven't been in this trading group, but again, I have seen some of his posts on Facebook. I always follow people. You know, I'm a lurker. Everyone knows I'm an internet lurker. And again, he did his thing. He made the call back in October. If you would have bought it back then when you saw it, you'd be very wealthy. So shout out to Jay Johnson. Jay Johnson would Discover Your Options again. Also, if you didn't catch it, the interview I did with Doboy, Wild 'N Out comedian, is up. I'll post that. The link's actually already in the description. I'll post it in the comments again. And I want to thank Justin for setting that up as well. He's the one who connected us and set that up. And Bitcoin Zay is going to be having an interview with him next, where of course they'll be talking about Bitcoin and Black America. And of course, last but not least, the webinar today, I believe it's free. I'll put that link is in the description as well. But the webinar for SPACs, stocks, and crypto is happening. That mastermind group is happening today at 11 a.m. So a lot of good news going around. All right, as I said, some of the news stories today is about to get really interesting. Chinese New Year could drive Bitcoin selling pressure. Just want to quickly mention this story. We talked about this already. You know, yearly around this time, yes, the price of Bitcoin does dip or just literally goes sideways. You have tax season in the States, which we know is starting off a little later this year. And then you also usually have, or not usually, you also have the Chinese New Year. We see selling pressure happening at both of those times. However, this year, during the pandemic, I don't know if that's going to happen, right? I don't think anyone knows. This is a 50-50 thing. Again, this is an article on Cointelegraph where kind of the same thing they talk about every year. Again, Chinese New Year is approaching. Traditionally, we've seen sales happening at this time. You should probably expect it again. Again, my only thing about that is that usually on Chinese New Year, they're actually traveling. They're actually doing something. This year, that is not happening, or at least it's not happening in mass. So I don't think the price of Bitcoin will be affected the same way. Who knows? That remains to be seen. This is a new test case. We've never been in a pandemic in February for a Chinese New Year while Bitcoin's been around. So this is the first year we will all get to see it. But again, take notes. Take notes, because whatever happens this year, if next year we're in a pandemic or 10 years from now we're in another pandemic, we have an idea of what the Asian market may or may not do. All right. And for the top stories of the day, hold on, let me get to my comments first, because I'm telling you, these stories are going to be good, people. Rashu said, I'm not selling. You already know. P-Man Van, why does it dip? Chinese buying fireworks with Bitcoin? That's what I said, you know what I mean? But traditionally, it would dip because they're traveling, to answer that question. And of course, China is what? The largest country in the world, or the second largest. I know it's between them and India. They go back and forth, but I believe they have like 5 to 7 billion or something people. So even if you get like a quarter of that population to travel, I mean, that's literally having the entire United States travel, right? So if you get a quarter of that population to travel anywhere, it would go somewhere. But yeah, this year, I don't know what they're doing with it. I guess they probably are going to be buying fireworks. Somovid, there we go. Shout out to Somovid. He's my trading coach. Thanks for shouting out Coach Jay. He's the real deal. There you have it, people. Somebody else said something. And again, do your own research. But, you know, I guess we became Facebook friends. Jay follows the show. He always posts stuff. Like I said, I never joined his group, but I always follow, not just him, I always follow posts from everyone, whether it's traditional stocks or especially the crypto market when it comes to any type of trades and technical TA. I don't do my own TA usually. So technical analysis, I usually follow other people's stuff usually. I usually try to compare, follow everybody, and have my own charts and graphs to kind of see, you know, where the trend is going to go. And that's why I do my fundamental analysis. But again, I've seen many picks from this guy publicly, and he's been right on a lot of them. So again, shout out to Jay Johnson. Keep doing your thing, my man. But yeah, this is Bitcoin Zay's favorite person, if you all know. BIS Chief Blast, Bitcoin's viability prompting blowback from advocates. That is right. Bitcoin maximists cry foul at the central bankers' prognostications. I can't say that word. I'm not going to try. But as Bitcoin Zay loves to call him, Jigglypuff. And Bitcoin Zay isn't with us today. He's traveling down to Miami for a conference. But this is his favorite person, the BIS General Manager, Augustin Carstens, also known as Jigglypuff to Bitcoin Zay, the chief banker at the Bank for Central Banks. The boss of all bosses, Augustin Carstens, cast doubt on Bitcoin's long-term viability Wednesday, saying it was only a matter of time before a 51% attacks bring down the world's original cryptocurrency. That is right. Carson's comments, which he delivered to the Hoover Institute, underscored his belief that Bitcoin fails as a currency, a medium of exchange, and a value storage mechanism, working only as a speculative asset and seldom as money. He also issued a dire warning to would-be Bitcoin investors, saying, above all, investors must be cognizant that Bitcoin may well break down altogether. Scarcity and cryptography alone do not suffice to guarantee exchange. Again, he kept going on and on, also talking about the said side effect of Bitcoin's monstrous electricity dependence, which he says is as high as Switzerland's, where the Carson's organization, the Bank for International Settlements, is based. So again, he's saying Bitcoin's going to get a 51% attack. Cryptography can't save it, and it takes too much electricity. I mean, he's just going in and in and in. He even said, he talked about the fixed amount, which everyone actually loves because we know how much money is in circulation. Instead of the United States dollar, where we have no clue on Thursday morning how much will be printed. Carson also reserved a particular bombast for we framed as an inevitable system failure hard-coded into Bitcoin's 21 million issuance cap, stating fewer coins getting minted means fewer miners processing transactions, he said, and confirmation wait times will go up. So too will Bitcoin's vulnerability, a majority attack. So clearly, if digital money is to exist, the central bank must play a pivotal role. Let me say that one more time. So clearly, if digital money is to exist, the central bank must play a pivotal role, guaranteeing the stability of value, ensuring the elasticity of the aggregate supply of such money, and overseeing the overall security of the system. Oh my goodness. You guys are so smart, right? I'm assuming he did not read that letter from Wallstreet Bets from Reddit, because they clearly said, fuck you, we don't need you to do anything you just mentioned. However, he's telling you the opposite. Jameson Locke, of course, well known in the space, chief technical officer at the Bitcoin storage startup Casa, told CoinDesk Carson's argument fails to stand up to Bitcoin's technical realities. Quote, Bitcoin becoming attackable like other networks is not likely because it will still require a large upfront capital expense for someone to acquire the appropriate hardware. A couple other people went off on them. But, you know, for myself, just to break this down one by one, and first and foremost, I'm going to close these blinds, which I usually have closed because that sun gets bright on me. There we go. You gotta love the live stream, people. You gotta love the live stream. There it is. Gotta have my face on camera for you. But to break this guy down, some of the statements he said, which are just absurd. Let's just go, you know, each one. It's 4 crazy statements, right? First of all, he's saying scarcity and cryptography alone do not suffice. Well, actually, no. The first thing he said was a 51% attack. We have talked about this so many times, but let's talk about a 51% attack. We saw this with some of the other networks. I think recently it was like Fyro or something. We've seen this with other cryptocurrencies. The problem with doing a 51% attack on Bitcoin, for those who don't know what it means, again, everyone can download the Bitcoin software, the Bitcoin network on their computer. A 51% attack means that someone will have to hack at least 51% of the network, over half of the network, which means hacking over half of the nodes that has the Bitcoin blockchain software on it on the planet. So that means I need to be able to hack nodes over in America. I need to hack some South American nodes. I need to hack some Russian nodes. I need to hack some North Korean nodes. I need to have at least 51% of this to happen. In order for this to ever, let's say this was possible to happen, you would need either a large organization or a group of people with a lot of money, I mean billions of dollars to take over the network. And even if you could, with your billions of dollars, take over the network without anyone knowing you were going to try to do this. So you had this big grand plan to take over the Bitcoin network, even though there are whale watchers and all these people who literally just stare at the blockchain all day because that's what they're into. No one's going to notice you trying to do this, but you so happen to do it on a block or two, right? Even then, you only have 10 minutes before the next block is made and other people on the network realize something is wrong and they want to fork it off to the original one, or right? So it's just one of those things where it is not possible. Even if you were to hack it, if a 51% attack is successful, it will only be successful for like 10 minutes before everybody's like, yo, something is wrong. This isn't right, and we're not going forward with this. So his main and first argument about this 51% attack happening would mean probably a government all of a sudden says, hey, we're going to spend billions of dollars of resources to try to overthrow the Bitcoin network. And oh, by the way, even if someone did it, again, people could just fork it off and go a different direction. Why do you think we have Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Platinum, Diamond, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash? They're forks. They just forked it off and did something different. So even if it were to happen, it is not the end of the world. It's not the end all be all. But hey, I understand. Good try there. Again, this guy literally said scarcity and cryptography. Well, just the fact that he said cryptography alone does not suffice to guarantee exchange. Like, cryptography is one of like the safest things we have out there to guarantee. Actually, instead, he's saying, no, don't trust cryptography, trust humans. Crazy. But if you want to get even crazier, he's not even saying trust humans. He's saying trust humans like me. No. For whatever reason, you're not screaming discipline to me. You're not screaming trust to me. I will not trust you when it comes to my money. So again, that makes no sense. They're saying don't use cryptography, don't use technology, don't use the fundamentals of scarcity, use humans and banks. Again, that makes no sense. What else did he have? He had another couple of good ones. Oh, the electricity dependence. Again, we're still talking about these same stories. This is crazy. All right. First and foremost, people, everything takes electricity. So let's not start all of a sudden acting like, oh, Bitcoin takes electricity, we shouldn't have it. Like really? So should we not have TV? Should we not have video games? Should we not have music? Should we not have all these other things that we enjoy that make us feel good, but maybe not have any real utility, or maybe may not have any real underlying value behind it, but to make us feel good in the emotional state? Do we take the electricity out from that? No. We're talking about building a global financial sector. Like, I'm okay with electricity going toward that. A, and then B, not only this argument, but the next one where he's talking about the mining, as far as once Bitcoin reaches peak mining, which again won't happen until the year 2140, when we'll all be dead by then. So I'm not even sure why that's a topic yet. He cares that much about his great grandkids, right? But both those arguments are dependent upon technology not improving. That means nothing in the electricity sector is going to improve. Nothing in the cryptocurrency sector is going to improve. Everything's going to stay the same for the next 100 years. We're going to keep taking the same amount of electricity for the next 100 years. The way we mine things are going to stay the same for the next 100 years. Like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Like, this makes no sense. And again, I know the guy isn't crazy. He's the boss of bosses of all banks. He's not stupid, people. And we'll get into that. He's doing all of this for a reason. But the point is, none of these arguments make sense. All his arguments are based on the fact that cryptocurrency as we know it now will be the same. I can tell you for a fact, cryptocurrency as we know it now will be different in the year 2023, because it was different 2 years ago in the year 2019. It was different 2 years before that in the year 2017. And then when I got started in the year 2016, I don't even think we had two-factor authentication yet. Like, most exchanges didn't even have it. They were just getting two-factor authentication in 2016. So it's one of those things where all this stuff is changing so rapidly. This guy is making no sense, and I'm glad he was called out on it. Let me check out some of these comments. Morph has me laughing right now. The first comment I see, it says, spank that like button, y'all. Yes, spank away. That was pretty funny. CryptoQ, the enormous numbers used to generate cryptographic algos are easy to generate, but nearly impossible to reverse engineer. In cryptography we trust. That's my point. I was trying, as I'm speaking live, I was trying in my head to break it down to layman terms as well. But that's the thing, for those who aren't well versed, including myself in cryptography, the algorithms are very hard to reverse engineer, which is why people say the only way you actually can do that 51% attack on Bitcoin is if you get a supercomputer. That is what people are worried about in the space who know what they're talking about. It sounds like to me, he got a bunch of talking points from his, the young people who work for him, and he just read them off, right? But for the people in the space who actually know, the thing everybody's actually scared about is a supercomputer. And then of course, the thing with that is everyone says if someone has a supercomputer to hack Bitcoin, by that time, the chances of the developers not also having a supercomputer would be rare. So that's the other side of that argument as well. It's like, hey, even if someone gets a supercomputer, if they're out like that, by then, why would this group of people not also have it? So something else to think about. What's going on, Steve P, Jizzy Mac? Yeah, quantum computing. Oh, you said that earlier. I didn't even see the comment. That's right. Quantum computing means quantum encryption too. Exactly. Just because you got a quantum computer doesn't mean that they're not going to use quantum computers to encrypt it, people. It's not the end of the world. Above Promotions Company said not happening. Yeah, everybody's disagreeing with this one right now. You already know. Here's another interesting one. Silver Lake co-founder, right on the heels of this, Silver Lake co-founder tells Davos cash is used far more in crime than Bitcoin. That is right. He didn't go to this point, but we've heard this point so many times we had to talk about this. Glenn Hutchins said up to 90% of $100 bills are used for organized crime and tax evasion. I didn't even know that, but it makes sense. I would say it makes sense because most people who have hundreds of dollars of bills or who could have hundreds of dollars of bills normally don't keep it on them. They got credit cards, debit cards, right? Like the average person who has a normal job who might be pulling like, you know, I won't say average, but a person who has a job and they're pulling in over 100, 200, 300K a year or even millions a year, whatever, right? The people who have access to $100 of bills don't use $100 of bills, right? They don't have them. So this kind of seems like a real stat to me just off the anecdotal thought of it, where it's like, yeah, the people who keep hundreds probably into something, which is why they keep hundreds instead of use their debit or credit card, right? But again, Glenn Hutchins, co-founder of global technology investment firm Silver Lake, countered the widely held view that Bitcoin is mostly used for illicit activity when speaking at the World Economic Forum and Summit in Davos, Switzerland. Woo! This is the big one. She probably saw Jigglypuff and was like, give me 10 minutes. I'm going on stage next. Hutchins said the belief ignores the immutable nature of the blockchain technology underlying Bitcoin, reported Finextra on Tuesday. And this is the one I love most about her quotes. Bitcoin, quote, leaves a permanent unaltered record, hence why almost all criminals using it are caught. It is fundamentally wrong to say that Bitcoin is mostly used for crime, he said. Again, it leaves a permanent, unaltered record, which is also why banks and governments don't want you to use Bitcoin, because if we put our banks and governments onto Bitcoin, they will never, ever in the future from here on out be able to lie about anything down to the penny. Less than a penny. We'll put their ass on some Satoshis. Like using that, y'all want to take recesses every 6 weeks. You all don't want to talk about stimulus or pandemic relief. Cool. We will only pay you while you're in the room working, and we'll charge it by Satoshis. You work for 30 minutes, wherever that 30 minutes come out to, there you go. You work for 3 days straight, wherever that 3 days straight come out to, cool. We're not going to keep paying you to go on breaks or recesses every 2 weeks, though. So again, these are some of the reasons why governments don't want it. And again, you can look into this, but what was it? Here it is. Indeed, as CoinDesk reported, blockchain sleuthing firm Chainalysis reported this month that criminal-linked activity made up just 0.34% of cryptocurrency transaction volume in 2020, down from 2.1% the year before. So I guess before it was at 2.4% at the highest. It's down to 0.34%. So again, they're making all these task force. They're using all this taxpayer money. They're trying to figure out all the criminals in cryptocurrency when it's less than 0.34% of people. Again, waste, fraud, and abuse by our government that we allow to keep happening, which is why I pointed out that GameStop story earlier. Like, I love what is happening on Wall Street. They are calling them out on their own BS. And pardon me, I didn't have this article up the whole time. I thought I had it up. But this is on CoinDesk again, and that's the Silver Lake co-founder calling everybody out with their BS on Bitcoin. So again, definitely appreciate that from Glenn Hutchins. Who do we have over in the chats? Let's see. Ends loose. Do we see a strong performance with Litecoin catching Ethereum? I would say in general, if a major pump were to happen, well, technically a pump is already happening, it's commencing. But if the same type of pump we saw for Litecoin in 2017 happened, it possibly could catch it only because of the same effect that people are looking at as, like, for people who don't know, you can buy pieces of cryptocurrency. They're looking at, you have to buy a whole $1,300 product or $1,400 product. They'll look at, oh, we have to buy a $300 product over here. It's the same reason why Ripple was catching a lot of coins when it first started pumping. It literally went from like 0.008 cent, less than a penny, to essentially $3 and something in a year because people were hoping that it was so cheap that they could catch up to Ethereum with it. Same thing. I don't think Litecoin will catch it, but that would be the only way I can see it happen, is that people saying, hey, this is the cheapest one to buy, and everybody goes all in on it. Let's see. Greeting from Germany as well. Appreciate that. Crypto influencer and coach Crypto will text, why hack Bitcoin if you can use supercomputer to destroy the world? Exactly. Thank you for pointing that out. This is why their arguments don't make sense. Like, if you could hack the Bitcoin network, if you have the ability to do that, you have the ability to do a lot of worse things. Like, I don't know, how about we go in there and erase everybody's credit? How about I just go to a bank itself and transfer all their money over to my private money? Like, there's so many other things that people would rather do than to hack the Bitcoin network to make it people disbelieve in it, and then everyone pull their money out. Then they won't get any money. There's so many other better things than these. So again, it doesn't make sense at all. I appreciate you actually throwing that out there. Yeah, the crypto clan. See, Robinhood stopped trading Dogecoin this morning. Robinhood robbing the hood and protecting Wall Street. Hilarious, Antonio. I didn't see that, but it makes sense. And that's also why we said on Robinhood, like PayPal, you don't own your cryptocurrency. You don't have your private keys. So something you might want to make note of. All right. The whole reason why Jigglypuff came on and started talking that talk was this story. Central banks representing a fifth of the world's population likely to issue CBDC in 3 years, says the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, which Augustin Carstens is the boss of all bosses over, the one we just covered. This is the real reason for the Bitcoin FUD. They are prepping the release. In 3 years, no, people. That's what they telling you to throw you off. This wouldn't surprise me if it comes out next year and a half. They're saying 3 years so people like me can kind of go to sleep on it and forget. Nah, he's not making all these inflammatory remarks for the year 2024. Are you kidding me? No, he's making these inflammatory remarks for right now, for later this year, for next year. So right now they're telling people many nations are moving to advanced stages of CBDC engagement, according to the Bank for International Settlements. Again, that's Jigglypuff. That's his bank. We just covered him. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, are entering the advanced stages of engagement as nations around the world look to capitalize on blockchain technology, according to a new report by the Bank for International Settlements. Key words here, people. I want you to take this in. As nations around the world look to capitalize on blockchain technology. Like, they're telling you this. The banks are telling you this. The banks, governments and banks, are looking to capitalize. They're not looking to help people, to bank the unbanked, to make sure everyone has a wallet, to make sure everyone has a chance to get financial literacy. They're not looking to do any of these things. They're looking to capitalize. How do you capitalize on blockchain technology? Taxation, turning ICOs into STOs, so these are some of the ways they're doing it. In his latest survey of CBDC development, the BIS shows that central banks representing a fifth of the world's population are set to introduce a general purpose CBDC in the next 3 years. The 23-page document is based primarily on consultations with more than 60 monetary authorities conducted in late 2020. Again, and it says 86% of global central banks are exploring CBDCs. Nonsense. Again, it's not going to take 3 years. They're working on this right now. And this is also why they didn't want Libra Coin to come out. Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook project Libra Coin. If you remember, Facebook actually has more than 1/5 of the world's population. I can't remember the exact number on it, but they may be up to like 2/5, if not 3/5 of the world's population, whereas the central banks only control 20% of the world's population. That in and of itself was the reason why they did not want it to launch. Facebook by itself has a larger market share than the Bank of International Settlements. This is hilarious to me. Facebook has more of a market share than central banks, people. That's why they didn't want them to launch it. So now they got Facebook and them out the way. They got all the private companies scared to launch any coin. The CBDCs, the central banks have done their research on CBDCs, and we found that 60 different countries, essentially they're saying 60 monetary authorities, I'll assume it's 60 countries. Again, the reason why this makes no sense is because all 60 of those countries, I can pretty much guarantee you they already have a central bank there. The same with 86% of global central banks. Again, this is the boss of all bosses, people. So if he says we're going to move north, they're all moving north. So these numbers don't surprise me. What actually surprised me is the 14% of central banks that aren't going along, because you still control them as well. And I want to know why they're looking up to their bosses or their supervisors, their franchisors or franchisees or wherever, saying, no, we're not going to go this route with the CBDC. We're going to go this route. So if anything, it's the opposite. It should be that 14% worries me, because if you're the central banker, you're the Bank of International Settlements, how don't you have 100% of all your banks on board, right? Because they're not on board because they know this plan makes no sense at all. And even further, if they really care to do this, they could just use Bitcoin. We already know that, but they're not going to do it, right? Erica K said, as y'all say, gang, gang. It's hilarious, people, because these are the same people. The bankers are the same people who have the money to hire, as we stated before, lobbyists, to influence regulators, to back politicians, to influence regulators. So it's one of those things where they already have all the chips in their hands, and yet they're still talking about cryptocurrencies, central bank digital currencies, and Bitcoin. There must be some reason why they're doing that. All right. Now to the good news stories of the day. Reddit partners with Ethereum Foundation to boost scaling and resources. The social media network says the aim of the partnership is to bring Ethereum to Reddit scale production. And again, popular social media network Reddit, which counts over 1.7 billion monthly visits, is deepening its ties with the Ethereum Foundation in what it has formalized as its first ever blockchain partnership. According to an announcement from Reddit admin Yu Jarmans, the aim of the partnership will be to increase the site's commitment to blockchain, accelerating scaling and resources for the Ethereum ecosystem, and bringing the value and independence of blockchain technology to millions of Redditors. Now, first of all, I want to give it a hand clap. Hand clap to this story, and it correctly illustrates my point of you think technology is not going to change in 100 years, it's going to change in 2 years. Some of the biggest complaints and issues, not only with the Bitcoin network, but Ethereum, is scaling, right? And we keep saying scaling is a technical issue. All it is more people want to use your network. The network wasn't made for this amount of people at this time. We're going to work on it. We're going to fix the kinks, and it's going to get better. Just like the whole electricity argument. Yeah, right now, as we use electricity, we haven't had it so we can use it to mine a digital currency. We use it for lights. We use it for TV, games, all this other stuff, cooking. But we haven't used it to mine currency. Now that we're actually doing it, there will be people to go to these grids and these networks and look at it and say, oh, if we do X, Y, and Z, or we adopt this technology, we can reduce the cost it takes to mine everything. I think that's the future. And I also think that's the future when it comes to Ethereum and Bitcoin and every other crypto out there when it comes to scaling, because as you see here, you'll see other companies say, hey, imagine if Amazon jumps onto one of these projects that have a hard time scaling and say, oh, I dealt with scaling issues years ago. Like, this is how we fixed it. Like, these are the things you can do. Even if technically it's a different approach, because maybe on the Bitcoin side or Ethereum side, there has to be code to fix that scaling issue. The fundamental principles of fixing scaling issues are still there, right? There's more people in a store. There's more people on a network. There's more people in a line. There's more people on whatever. If there's more people, if there's more things happening, there's ways to fix it. So shout out to Reddit for seeing this, for partnering with Ethereum. Again, I think we'll see this with more companies in the future, bigger companies, as they start to adopt, buy into, or invest into smaller companies in the crypto space. The ones that have issues scaling won't be an issue, because there will be some white collar person to come over from these traditional, or Red is not even a traditional company, right? But come from companies that have had these issues before, these technology companies that say, hey, we've had issues scaling. We know how this thing works. And I think this type of partnership will help Ethereum. So for those who are bullish on Ethereum, I think this is a good sign for you. And it looks like it's going to continue going up. Let's see. CryptoQ said found a user who was already using GameStop as a bank because his local branches were too slow and crowded. He unbanked himself with GameStop. That is hilarious. That's actually pretty good, though. Erica K said, look at the cell phone and smart TV. Exactly. Who remembers the big gray cell phone? I'm over here dating my age right now, but I remember my mom had the big gray cell phone, right? So it's one of those things where we went from a big gray cell phone We had what was it? The slide phones, the razors. People used to sit on those things and break them. We had remember when we had music on the phone, your first MP3 player, to camera phones, to music and cameras on the phone. And now you literally have a smartphone, a laptop on your phone. So could you imagine 10 or 15, 20, 30 years ago when we started proliferating phones? Someone's like, no, man, they too big. Like, they never gonna X, Y, and Z. Let's just get rid of telephones. It makes no sense. All right. And this is also why the BIS Jigglypuff is in the news. Again, the pushbacks has already started from the government side. The lines have been drawn. Miami uploads Bitcoin white paper to Municipal website. Hey, here we go. It looks like Mayor Suarez watches the gentleman of crypto, or at least someone in his cabinet does. So thank you, Miami. And it's funny, they actually uploaded it to their website the day Bitcoin Day is flying down there. So hey, and this is on CoinDesk too. Listen, people, there's too many coincidences. Too many coincidences. All right. Mayor Suarez once again pledged to turn Miami into a hub for crypto innovation. That's what's up. Again, shout out to Miami, because right now y'all know y'all got a lot of crypto scammers down there. So definitely it's good news to have some crypto innovation. But the city of Miami on Wednesday uploaded a copy of the Bitcoin white paper to its municipal website, joining a growing chorus of governments and companies now hosting Bitcoin's original blueprint. Mayor Francis Suarez emphasized his commitment to turn Miami to a hub for crypto innovation in his tweet announcing the upload. He's been pumping the U.S. city's potential as a landing ground for California tech expats for weeks on social media. Woo! And listen, I will tell you this, Mayor Francis Suarez, before I moved to Los Angeles, the choices I was making were it was Houston, Tokyo, Miami, and New York. Miami was on my hit list as a place to go. So that might be a spot I need to start doing business at for sure. Again, here's the tweet itself. The city of Miami believes in Bitcoin, hashtag Bitcoin, and I'm working day and night to turn Miami into a hub for crypto innovation. Proud to say Miami is the first municipal government to host Satoshi's white paper on a government site. Shout out again, people. The war is won. We keep saying it. These are the lines in the sand that are already beginning to get drawn and will only get more significant, because eventually you're going to have that. Hey, you're going to have the Bank of International Settlements saying FUD and manipulating the market on this side of the house and fence, and then finally on this side of the fence you're going to have mayors, politicians, and hopefully even their regulators say, "Oh, wait, what did you just say to what conference?" Like, no, that's not true. Like, that's market manipulation, right? We'll finally have people on our side of the fence, on our side, on our team, other warriors coming in the form of mayors. And this is why I said mom and pop. Now that it's reached the mayoral level, we're not talking, the federal or the state government or nothing. We're talking about mayors, cities, local. This is how it trickles down to mom and pops. This is how it trickles down to retail investors. Everybody keeps saying no one uses Bitcoin though. Yeah, because no one talks about it. Now that the mayor of Miami is talking about it and saying, hey, we want to make this a hub, and other business owners, I'm sure, like, wait, what do we need to do? All we need to do is just download this and turn this on in 5 minutes, and we have new customers or people flying from California saying we want to do business in Miami, all because we accepted Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Seems like a win-win, and it seems like a smart mayor to me. So shout out again to Mayor Francis Suarez. You know what? This would be a cool person to also have on the show. We have to work on that to hear his thoughts, because again, you talk about pushing back against the party line. This is doing it right here. But shout out to Mayor Suarez again. Lego my ego. Exactly. Come to Miami Beach. The weather is great. Listen, the reason why I love Miami, just like Southern California, beautiful weather, beautiful beaches. The only thing about you all is those hurricanes. That's why I didn't want to do it to begin with. But to be fair, the good thing about Miami versus California is you got the Atlantic Ocean versus Pacific. Right now, Pacific Ocean is like 50, 60 degrees. And of course, the Atlantic is still probably like 70 something, feeling good down there. So I'm looking at it. We'll see. Alex G said the network effect is coming. That's right, the network effect. Once one mayor does it, 2 mayors do it. Next thing you know, it's 10 mayors do it. Next thing you know, it's a governor doing it. Next thing you know, you plan to run for governor without talking about Bitcoin. Next thing you know, you plan to run for president without talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Like, it went from $1,000 to $100,000 in like 4 years. You're not gonna talk about that? All right, so you're a jackass, right? That's gonna be the look that people are gonna give people. And last but certainly not least, the mayor of Reno appears to be a Link Marine. That is right. 2 mayors that quick, people, within 24 hours. It would seem that Mayor Hillary Shive, I might have pronounced that wrong, so excuse me, Hillary, of Reno, Nevada, is a supporter of Chainlink's blockchain Oracle project. That is right. As more jurisdictions explore the potential utility of blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, one American mayor suggested that she backs Chainlink, the most widely used Oracle network for powering connected smart contracts, as stated here. When Miami Mayor Francis Suarez announced that his municipality's website will host Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper, Mayor Hillary Shive of Reno, Nevada, asked her colleague when he would become a Link Marine, a popular term to describe the supporters of Chainlink's Oracle network. Again, you can see his tweet here, and then her tweet right back to him. Nice work, my friend. We should explore a city coin with at U.S. mayors. That's a bad idea. My next question is, when are you going to become a Link Marine? That is a good idea. Now, again, shout out to both Mayor Hillary Shive and Mayor Francis Suarez. Again, one more hand clap for at least talking about cryptocurrency and being involved in it publicly. But Mayor Hillary, I will warn you, slow down on the city coin, because to me, and I mean, I already know because everybody's trying to make money off it, right? That sounds like what we saw in 2017 with ICOs and everybody trying to create new coins. You had, oh, I'm going to rename the coin after my name, or we got this coin after my name. We got this coin. We got this coin. Like, that is a money grab, Mayor Hillary Shive. And it's actually too late for you to do a city coin, because the government, as we already saw, is trying to do a federal coin, a CBDC coin. And I'm pretty sure the Federal Reserve, the Bank of International Settlements, and the like are definitely not going to like you all trying to do a city coin, and you won't win any favors with the traditional cryptocurrency community. So I would say just nix that line out. The Link one was fun. Granted, we know you're in it. But also, I will also warn Mayor Hillary on this. You got to be careful with when are you going to become a Link Marine? Because that's what McAfee's in trouble for. Essentially going on Twitter being like, hey, y'all ain't bought that Dogecoin today, or y'all ain't bought whatever. It pumps. Next thing you know, he may or not have sold, and they got him in trouble for manipulating the market, right? Kind of the same thing. You can't be a mayor in a public position talking about some, oh, what's up with Link? You can't do that. You cannot do that. It's kind of showing a conflict of interest, but I'm not going to bash you. I'm all with it. It is a cryptocurrency. You're just trying to get the word out about different cryptocurrencies. And you know what? To be fair, as a citizen, I can appreciate that. If my mayor would be like, hey, I'm in a Bitcoin, I'm in a Dogecoin, I'm in a whatever. Right or wrong, whatever they do with their power, who knows? But the fact that they're at least telling you that, hey, I'm interested, I'm looking at this thing, lets me know that we have a mayor who has their eyes on this project also. So I'm not gonna lie, I saw the pump from Link today. I'm not sure if that's because of the mayor, but it made me actually get interested in reading more up on different stuff, not just this coin, but other coins, because it's like, if this mayor is involved in it, again, the mayor is going to make sure they keep their interests secure as well. So I definitely consider that when I'm looking at fundamental analysis. CryptoQ, hilarious. The new ICO's initial city offering. What if they actually did that? Made an ICO called initial city offering. How pissed would everyone be? Rights to Rise said Matty Greenspan, CEO Greenspan, just on Glenn Beck, said he loved Bitcoin and he's holding it. There he is, Marty Greenspan, another one. What's going on? Tessa Hall. Let's see. Above Promotions Company said, oh, he's talking about the New Yorkers. Oh, I know Tampa bars accepting Bitcoin. All them strip clubs. I know how y'all do down there. No. Black Hype says, so you went to the earthquakes. Exactly. Listen, people, and the worst part is I'm in a high rise with the earthquake. I swing for like a good 2 or 3 minutes afterwards. All right, looks like that's about the end of the comments today. Again, as always, thanks for watching. I know we went a little long today, but the stories were so great we had to cover them. Make sure you smash that like and share. And again, today at 11 a.m., I believe, yep, I have that link. I'll put both of the links in the comment section. But that SPAC, Stocks, and Cryptocurrency Mastermind group will be at 11 a.m. Today. That registration, I believe, is free. Again, those links are in the description as well as I just posted them below in the chat box as well. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you smash that like and share, and I will see you all tomorrow. Some more crypto news, and Bitcoin's Day will be back next week, and we'll have a couple more new announcements. Another new show will be rolling out in the crypto space, so a lot of good things to come. As always.